Hey everybody! A few weeks ago I started an experiment I called the Rainbow of Cancer, and it was a bad idea. To do it, you first need chromium, which I'll get from these things. These are stainless steel sponges. They usually contain around 10 to 20% chromium depending on the alloy. In order to get it out, we first need to dissolve everything with some HCl. However, one should know that dissolving metals in HCl releases copious amounts of hydrogen gas, which is flammable. Also, adding soap was not a great idea. As with all potentially dangerous demonstrations, it is important to scale it up. I packed a bottle with a few sponges, then measured some acid and poured it on the steel. As you can see, a reaction immediately takes place and hydrogen is being generated, which I collected using a balloon. However, I was caught off guard by how quickly it got full. You can actually see that the rate of hydrogen production allows for a constant flame.
Okay.
In the flask, we are currently transforming iron into iron 2 chloride and chromium into chromium 3 chloride, which are both green. I added a new balloon and let it fill up. Also, I'd like to point out that working with large quantities of hydrogen is hazardous. So if you do, please act responsibly. Unlike me.
Holy shit.
Now that's how you lose an eyebrow. But what are we trying to do exactly? From this step we have made chromium 3 chloride, which is the green guy in the rainbow. But it is also the starting point from which all the other colors can be made. Some of them being carcinogenic, hence the name the Cancer Rainbow. But first we need to separate it from the iron salts. One way to do this is to selectively precipitate the chromium by slowly adding some dilute sodium hydroxide. In case you're wondering, yes, that's not how it's supposed to happen, and it is just a huge solid mess. And this is when things started to take an interesting turn. Notice the quotation marks. I did what I could to turn this gelatinous mass into a slurry, and I then proceeded to filter it. This was a perfect time to remind myself that I'm an adult with a great sense of maturity, and that all I see here is just ongoing science. Because it sure looks like a huge pile of shit. Next, I added some HCl and started to poke at the substance and stir until everything got dissolved. Hey, this is a message to those who are subscribed. First, thank you. And second, make sure you activate the little bell thing, otherwise you'll very likely miss some of my videos. Once dissolved, I just cranked the heat and let it boil until crystals started to form, and then let it cool. Then I added some ethanol in order to selectively dissolve the iron salts while keeping the chromium ones solid. And this happened. But you know what? I decided that it is okay. After filtration, I had on the one hand a deep green liquid and on the other hand some green solid stuff. Given the green color found everywhere, I guess it's safe to say that the separation wasn't really effective, and for weeks I tried to recover the chromium from the liquid portion. And while I could bore you with all the details on the videos, I decided instead to give you an overview of it from my journal of failures. So, in summary, I managed to boil off the ethanol and go for lunch, only to find that my solution had become a toxic fountain. Also, I somehow burned my product beyond repair. I performed filtrations that took forever and clogged all of my filters. I tried selective precipitations again and again, only to eventually understand that chromium will always get trapped within the iron precipitates. And now my hood looks like this. These were long weeks. Anyways, remember this? Well, I resuspended everything in water and let it boil off. And look, we have some chromium. Granted, it's heavily contaminated with salt and iron, but still, it is there. I can see it and you can see it too. Well, this is all I can fit in this first video, but don't worry, there will be a follow-up. I could really use some emotional support right now, so if you think this video was worth a click, the like button is right there and it's waiting for you to smash it. That would be really cool. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!